Hi, welcome to the Creative Treehouse. My name is Robin Broom and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. Thanks for joining me in the Treehouse today. Some of you have been eagerly waiting for this part 2 video about this really cool pop-up New Year's card. And the first video, if you haven't seen it, talks about the front of the card, and today's video is going to talk about the inside of the card. So all the bling, all the measurements, and I'm going to talk about the mechanism that makes it pop up. So it kind of twists up open, and there you have it with all the fun New Year bling. So let's get into all of the measurements and the products that I used. All right, the very first thing that we'll do is we'll talk about the mechanism itself, and you will need a piece of black cardstock. Now this is the only cardstock that I did not use of Stampin' Up! Only because Stampin' Up's cardstock is amazing and wonderful and thick and awesome. And to make the mechanism work, it's better if it's something a little bit thinner. So this is, I really don't know, but it's just a thin, cheap black cardstock, and the weight is a whole lot lighter, so that really helps with the mechanism and as far as being able to fold the paper. So that's the black, and it measures 7 3/4 by 2 3/4 inches, and I'll have all these measurements. I'll put them on my blog so that you can, they'll be all written down. You can print them out or whatever you need. So 7 3/4 and 2 3/4 inches. And then I used a piece of designer series paper, and this came from the Elegant, what was it called? The Elegant, Simply Elegant is what it is. Simply Elegant DSP, and it is the same length. It is also 7 3/4, and then it's 3 inches. So it's just a 1/4 of an inch bigger. So, but it's exactly the same length. So that was a Simply Elegant. It's got that little bit of a shimmer to it. So, and of course you can mix and match and use whatever you have, but so those two, that's the mechanism. And then you will need, like, let me show you the card one more time. So that is this part, and for these 4, and this is Night of Navy rectangles that are going to go on there. The rectangles measure 1 5/8 by 2 5/8. Again, 1 5/8 by 2 5/8. And then the numbers that you're going to put on those is from a retired die set. I know I've got a friend who just really wants those to come back, as well as the large letters. These are the large number dies, and they have been retired for probably 2 or more years. So, but they just fit perfectly with that particular size. I was just ecstatic when I found that out. So, and these came from, I cut them out of, using those dies, I cut them out of the bedazzling paper. And the bedazzling paper was from the recent mini catalog, well, the celebration that went with it, and I think it was one of the free products. But if you've got anything else that's similar and shiny, it works really well for a New Year's card, something that's very celebratory. So that is that section. Let me slide that off to the side, and I'll tell you about, now we'll move on to the 2 panels. I'll just call them the top panel and the bottom panel. They're their exact same size. And these, you're going to be using the bedazzling paper again, Night of Navy, and this is, actually I was probably incorrect in, this is the Simply Elegant paper. I believe the other one is from a retired pack, but you could mix and match. So we've got the bedazzling, the glitter paper there, and this one, let me get my measurement, let me slide that out of the way. Okay, it is 2 1/16 by 4 1/16. Okay, so 2 1/16, 4 1/16. And then on top of that, you'll have the Night of Navy, and the Night of Navy is 1 3/16 by 3 3/16. So, and again, that's 1 13/16. Did I say that wrong? I think I did. 1 13/16 and 3 13/16. And then this one was actually cut out with one of the stitched rectangle dies. So it's this one. But you could also cut it just to measure. It doesn't really matter that it has the stitching on it, up to you. But if you wanted to cut it and not use those stitched rectangles, I think that the dimensions would just be a 1/8 smaller than the Night of Navy there. So that's that. And then the only other thing I think that's part of it is the letters that say Happy New Year. And those came from the Word Wishes dies. And then I also put the adhesive strips on it, although I ran out right here, so I'm gonna have to put a little bit of glue on that one, but that's what those were cut out of. And I'm also going to, when I do it, I'm going to take off the S. So it will say Happy New Year. This works, I think the S works if you're going to say New Year's Day or something like that. So, but that's what we're going to do with our paper snips. So I think that is all of the dimensions. And now the tricky part is the mechanism. So let me show you how we're going to put the mechanism together, how that all works. So we'll start with our black strip. Let me move my words out of the way. And we are going to fold it lengthwise. Okay, so make sure we got it all lined up. And again, I keep forgetting to bring my bone folder into my studio. Okay, so you've got it that direction. You've got it lengthwise. The crease is here. I'm going to open it back up with the crease on the top. And now I'm going to fold it crease side up. I'm going to fold it in half this way. So once we get it folded this way, make sure I've got it lined up well. All right, so I folded it this way. And then on the top, you've got, this is the open end, you've got your top, it's the fold. I'm gonna fold in, almost like you're making a paper airplane, and I'm gonna fold triangles, one on either side. So now you have triangles. And this is a lot harder to do with a thicker cardstock. Okay, so I've got those triangles, and I'm going to flip it, open them up, flip it over, and I'm going to fold it the opposite way. The triangles are going to go the other way. So now you have triangles, you've got it folded both the directions. Like that. Make sure I've got my creases well. All right, now we're going to open it up. And when I open it up, I'm going to open it with those creases, the first crease that we made, so it's up on the top. Now this to me is the trickiest part of it, because you're going to fold this, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, you're going to try to pop those out. So if I can, like I said, this is the trickiest part. Let's see if I can get it to go. Okay, I got that one to go. Let's see if I can get this one to go. Up. Squeeze. Yep, exactly. All right, so it's going to be like that. So you're going to squeeze those together and bring those creases in. And the tricky part is to get those to fold the right way. It took some practice on that one. Okay, once you've got it down, you're going to crease it. And so again, it's going to look like that. That's the tricky part, is or to me it is anyway, to pull that in like that. Okay. So once you have that in, we are ready to go ahead and adhere that down. So we've got our card base, which is it's the regular A2 card base, and I used Night of Navy. It just worked out from my colors. I tried multi-purpose liquid glue, and it's fine, but I think because it's a mechanism and it needs to open and close a lot, I think a stronger adhesive would be better, such as the Seal Plus, or possibly, what else would work? I think of course it's not gonna, all right, let me stick this down here, because the Seal Plus is pretty permanent. Okay, and then I'll do the same on this side. You're just gonna put some tape on, or those, and then I'm gonna fold it over on itself like that. Okay, so the Seal Plus should work and be strong enough. The tear-in tape was the other one I was thinking that would probably work. So then it's going to open and close like that. Okay, so and then once you get that one fold on there, you've pretty much got it. So and it just fits perfectly in there. So let me pull it back. Sorry, I was probably not in the camera on that. All right, so there is that. Now what we need to do is to do the DSP that's going to go right on top of that. So first, let me double check that I'm gonna get that right. First, you're going to fold it this way. You're going to fold it with white against white. So it makes me think of when you do patterns and things and they tell you to put which sides of the fabric to put together. So it's white against white, and then you're going to take it and put the color against the color. So like that, going back up, and then flip it the other side the exact same way, like so. Okay, and so it'll look like that. And this is going to go right on top of this one. And remember, it lines up side to side, and then it's just going to be a little bit like this. I tried putting these together first and then putting them on the card. I think it's probably easier to do it this way. So, and on this one, this is a little bit interesting and tricky. You're going to put the glue, and again, you could use the probably tear-in tape or whatever, and you're going to imagine there's not any score lines, but you're going to imagine a triangle right here and a triangle right here, and that is where you're going to put your glue. So that one, let me see if I can show you on the real one. So you can see that this is glued here and it's glued here. So you don't want the other sides, you just want this, the top right and the bottom left, to be glued on those triangles. So let me try the tear-in tape. Well, actually, you know, I think I can use the multi-purpose liquid glue. Let me do that because I think it should stick. Okay, and then this side as well, sort of like a triangle. All right, we'll see how that does. All right, and then you're just going to line it all up, and I think the easiest thing for me to do would be to line it so I can just kind of look at the edge. That's why I like the liquid glue, is because you've got a little bit of wiggle room there. Okay, and then I'm gonna, whoop, but speaking of wiggle room, it just sat there and wiggled on me. All right, I think that should be good. Let's look. Okay, hold it down for just a second, because that's the only thing that's holding that down. And now we can go ahead, while that dries a little bit, we'll go ahead, I'm going to slide it out of the way, and we will adhere all of our numbers. 2022. I am looking forward to 2022. And on this one, I did use the liquid glue for each of the numbers. And hopefully you have some of this paper. And if not, hopefully you have another one. And hopefully you have the number dies, the old retired number dies. So useful. Maybe they'll come back with something as wonderful. Okay. And your 0 and your 2. Again, I was just so excited that exactly worked. All right. There's your 2. One more 2. Look at that. All the 2s. I just think this year is going to be a good year. I don't know if it's just that I like even years. I was born on an even year, so maybe that's it. But that reminds me I'm going to have a big birthday coming up. So, all right. And then, again, liquid glue here. And put each of them on their respective panels. Okay, and there's 0. So have you made any New Year's resolutions? I usually do not. But I know that we were talking about it at lunch today, about if you had a word, what would your New Year's word be? Something that you would like to, some area that you would like to maybe grow in. So I thought that was an interesting thing to think about. All right, so there, now we've got all those lined up, and then hopefully our other glue is set, so I'm going to be able to close it. And it's going to take, you're going to have to work with it just a little bit to get it, the mechanism to work. All right, and I'm going to open it back up again. And then close it, and you're just going to have to, like I said, just work with it just a little bit so that it'll do it on its own. And by the time your recipient gets it, it'll be totally ready. So that is how the really cool mechanism works. So it's not too hard, it's just that one fold I think is a little bit tricky. All right, so now let's move over to our last panels. Let me put those together. Now this is very thick paper, and so on one of the ones that I made, I actually used the rectangular square, stitched rectangular square, and I cut it out just to have a little less bulk in it because this would cover that up. So, but on this one, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go ahead and make it a little bit bulky. So, and I have no idea how much this one would cost to mail, but I already have an order from my 83-year-old father who wants me to make some of these for him to give to friends, special friends. So he'll probably get one of these that you're seeing me make right now. So there's one. So once you have all the pieces, it's not too bad. Like I said, that one fold is a little bit tricky. So, but other than that, so hopefully you can watch the video, stop it, start it, and or maybe it'll just come very easy peasy for you. I'm usually pretty good at putting things together, but that one was a little bit tricky and mind-boggling for me. All right, so we've got that. Now what I did, because this is so small, and let's go ahead and find my paper snips and let's cut off the S. And if we can do it in such a way that it looks like it was purposeful. I think I've got a little bit too much of a tip. Let me cut that little bit off. I love these paper snips. They're just perfect for these really tight little corners. They just, I think even people that struggle with cutting stuff, that it works just, they find themselves being better than they were in kindergarten cutting. All right, let's peel all of this off. The liquid glue works as well with it, but I think this is just perfect. If you run it through your die cut machine with the adhesive, it's just a lot better. A lot less messy. Okay, let's see if we can get that on there. Ta-da! All right, and then the word new. We're almost done. I thought I did bring my, take your pick tool, and that will help pull off the backing. Well, let me move to the, where's the happy? Here's the happy over here. Because this one is the one that I did run out of sticky and didn't really realize it. So I'm going to put just a tiny dot of liquid glue on the end of the H to make sure it adheres all the way. Because that's the only spot that it missed was right, well, if I can get my liquid glue to go. Come on, glue. I was just using it. And it'll probably come out in a giant blob. All right, you know what? We're gonna stick it down without it. And go back if we need to. All right, we'll get the happy on there. Happy, happy. I do hope it's a happy new year for you. The entire year. 2020 was a very unusual year, and 2021 was as well. And I just think I have high hopes for 2022. I have faith that it's going to be a better year. I'm excited for and have great hopes. All right. Ta-da! All right, Happy New Year. Got those on. Let's put those on really quick. Quickly. And again, this has a lot of... All right, I am moving to another glue. I could also, because it's so thick, it probably would be a good idea. There we go. To maybe even use the tear and tape or one of the, like the Seal Plus. Okay, line that up. Look at that. I like the colors too. I like the night of navy with the gold and the beige. I'm a gold fan. All right. I think it looks very classy. What do you think? All right, let's work on the mechanism again and give it a little nudge. All right, and it is bulky, as you can see. It's pretty bulky, but I think it's worth it, don't you? I do think it's worth it. All right, I'm still gonna have to work it a little bit. Let's see. Let me try it again. Oh yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there. So you just keep working it. I like it. There we go. All right. I am so excited that you joined me for this project. Sorry it took me a little while to get it. We've had all kinds of technical issues and everything. Of course, it does have a front side, but you know that. Here's the front side that we can adhere to it. And then we would have our wonderful card. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you've written down the measurements, that you'll make one. It doesn't have to be a New Year's card. It could be a birthday card or anything else. So you can let me know which one you make, or maybe you change up the colors. I would love to know how you made yours. So thank you so much for joining me in the Treehouse. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, I would love it if you would subscribe. I am working on trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm also trying very hard to make a video a week. I'm getting closer and closer, and maybe that will be one of my New Year's resolutions, is to definitely come up with a video a week. So thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you next time in the Treehouse. Bye-bye.